Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening to all lovely people who are here. Welcome and thank you for joining our webinar. I am Maisarah,
and I am Kamilia.
Second year communication students from IIUM, your moderators for today. In conjunction with the webinar series Disability Inclusion, tonight we are going to discuss an interesting topic, which is the world of autism from two dads' perspectives. We hope that you can stay with us till the end of the webinar, because at the end of our session, there will be a Q&A session. Thus, we highly encourage you to ask any questions regarding this topic in the comment section below. Please don't hesitate to ask questions, because we really would like to hear from you, the audiences who are watching this live. With the saying, kalau tak kenal maka tak cinta, we have invited two speakers to give us an insight about the world of autism, which are Mr. Adli from Autism Cafe Project, along with Mr. Firdauz from Genius Kurnia as our guests for tonight. So to Mr. Firdauz and Mr. Adli, welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. So without further ado, please tell us about yourself and family. Let's start with Mr. Firdauz. Please introduce yourself and your family.
Okay, I need to unmute myself. Okay, right. Hi, assalamualaikum everyone, and good evening. Thank you all for inviting me today. And hi, Adli. Okay, my brother here again. Okay, actually, my name is Ahmad Firdauz bin Abdullah Tahrim, a teacher here in Genius Kurnia, and also a father of two, and one of them is an autistic person. His name is Amar Martin, and he is 8 years old this year. And Alhamdulillah, now Amar Martin is really enjoying his school days in one of primary school here in Kuala Lumpur, in inclusive classes. That's all. Something about me lah. A bit about me. Thank you.
Okay, now we have Mr. Adli. Mr. Adli, please tell us about yourself and your family.
First and foremost, thank you for inviting me today. My name is Adli Yahya Info. I have a son. My second is Muhammad Lukman Sharis. He's autistic, and he is a full-grown young man now. He's 23 now, and we run a small project called Autism Cafe Project, which started about 5 years back, and now after 5 years and plus, we have managed to set up our own cafe. Belongs to us, entirely financed on our own capability, and it has been running for about a year plus already after the pandemic ends. We have so far trained about 42 individuals with ASD, and currently we are employing 4 individuals with autism. And the main cafe is situated in Daman, Subang Jaya, and we have a second outlet, mini outlet we call it, over in Thomson Hospital in Kota Damansara. I think that's about it lah. And I'm happily married.
I see. I see. Okay. So for the audience's information, Mr. Adli and Mr. Firdauz are two amazing fathers who have a very precious autistic son at home.
Okay, to kick off our webinar tonight, let's start the question for Mr. Firdauz. Mr. Firdauz, you've mentioned that you're currently working at Genius Kurnia. Please do share with us on your position at Genius Kurnia, and we would also love to know what is the role of Genius Kurnia for children with autism and their families.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Actually, I'm a head of program here in Genius Kurnia, where me and my team actually manage the daily operation, and also training and some consultations to any agencies, government agencies or NGO or any stakeholder regarding early intervention, which means we actually help them to set up new places or anything similar to what we've done in Genius Kurnia. And for all of you out there, Genius Kurnia actually is a center of early intervention under Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, Ministry of Education, whereby we actually focusing on early intervention towards children with autistic and also their families, where we actually provide early intervention based on what we call that naturalistic and evidence-based approach for children with autistic. And we also try to prepare them as much as possible for them to facing their school days during the first years of uh, primary school, okay, standard 1, standard 2, and so on. And what we try to do is actually we try to get them to be in the inclusive into the inclusive education system that we provide by the KPM. And we also try our level best to help them to actually to excel in their studies, and also to help them to socialize with their friends and so on. That is actually what we did in here in Genius Kurnia.
I see. Okay, so by going to the center, they will be around people with autism and learn how to interact with each other.
Yeah, something like that. Which we try to help the kids to actually socialize, to communicate, and to help them to modify their behavior if there's any behavior issues. And also, like some of these kids also have difficulties on not only on socializing but also communication, where autistic person always have some difficulties on speech. They always have speech delay, and maybe some of them are not actually can even speak. And that is where we come and we help them with something like that.
I see. Okay, that is very interesting.
Okay, now we have our next question is for Mr. Adli. We personally think that Autism Cafe is a wonderful step in terms of including people with disabilities in our community. So we believe that the Autism Cafe project is not easy from the start to be established and maintained. So, Mr. Adli, what inspired you or motivates you to establish the Autism Cafe project, and what is its role?
Well, quite simply put it in a way, why I set it up is because of my son. Um, you know, autism is a spectrum. At one point you have very highly intelligent person, and another point is to the extreme side, it's very violent or similar to that matter. My son is neither here nor there. He's somewhere in the midpoint. But if you look at his functionality, he those days is very sort of low function individual. So having said that, I wanted him to feel to lead his life to the fullest, to be able to lead a life like normal you and I, having to take LRT, buses, having to have friends, I would say if I leave that to himself, it'll be impossible for him to lead a life on his own, So I have to create an atmosphere, a place where he's able to be himself as well as living his life. It's not easy for him to lead a normal life like us if we were to put him outside in the real world. For a good example is leading. When you want to lead a full life, you have to be sustainable to yourself. Meaning, you had to be independent. You know, getting a job, securing a job, putting that in a position, who would like to employ my son? Who would like? I mean, he has certain disability, not to point out disability, but he has also his ability. But as I said, when the point is, when he is out in the market finding jobs, the competition will be from us. Now, if you go to any employer, chances are of him securing a position is very slim, because he's not able as us. So thus I created this specifically for him, when it was a beginning, specifically for him. But as we move along, we found out that there are so many individuals, parents out there in the same shoes as I am, looking for ways and means to get their son or their daughter to live their life to the fullest. So we decided to open it up, and thus it was a small project, but it grew. As I said earlier, we have so far trained about 42 of them, and we have quite a successful track record. Few of them are now an executive in the banks. A few of them are now operating their own business and working elsewhere. So we're quite happy with the result. But the disclaimer is I am not a doctor nor an expert matter in this subject of autism. I did this with an experience from my journey with Lukman. That's all. So disclaimer is I'm not a doctor. I'm not an academician. I'm not what do you call this, a subject matter expert. No, I'm not. So that's disclaimer lah. But I did it from my heart, and I did it from my experience lah. We were quite pleased with the progress that we have done. As I said, we are now operating with, when we started, it's just a table by the roadside. That's all. And we have progressed since, having secured a place on our own now and financing it all on our own now. So quite happy with the result. And we hope to expand soon to several locations. That is not because of the money, because of fame. No, it's not. But we're trying to give up more opportunity to individuals like my son Lukman. There's so many out there, and there's so little opportunity. So we created this opportunity basically for the individual with ASD. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So that was really a lovely response. So Mr. Adli established Autism Cafe project for his son out of love because he wants to help
Yes.
his autistic son.
Yes. You see, the point is this, the individuals with autism, they can work like us, normal like us, but creating opportunity, creating a possible opportunity for them to advance, they can't do it. They're not like us. We're able to talk freely. We're able to pitch for jobs. They can't do that, but they can work. But the thing is, the opportunity must be created for them. It's our responsibility. It's your responsibility to create opportunity for them. But once the opportunity is created, you see the wonders of having to work with all these beautiful boys and girls. Really, I'm at ease now working with them. Really, I am.
Then me and Marsya would love to go to Autism Cafe project one day. So now that we have
Inshallah.
Mr. Adli and Mr. Firdauz, who are both who works or tries to help their children, Lokman and Mati, into the society where Mr. Adli founded Autism Cafe project to help Lokman in terms of, like Mr. Adli said, that people with autism can work, but they have different capabilities. Same goes to Mr. Firdauz, who works at Genius Kurnia to help those with autism integrate into society. Now, since our topic tonight is on two fathers' perspective, we would like to know from both Mr. Firdauz and also Mr. Adli, what were the challenges, or what was the biggest challenge that you had to face alone as a father, that you kept all to yourself all these years while raising your children with autism? We want to know the first one that you think of whenever you are asked these questions, as that moment was really tough on you and you had to go through it alone? Mr. Firdauz, would you like to go first?
Actually, during the first stage of knowing that my son had an autism spectrum, it was a bit disappointed at first. Right, Abang Ali? Yeah, you felt that you fail at some level, but to be fair, okay, I don't keep it anything for myself. I told my wife, I shared it with my wife, and as a partner, she motivated me at the most of the time, and I don't think that I get anything from my wife and my families and my friend. I tell them what I felt. I share with them what to do with my kids or what to do with my teen. And then there's a lot of thought going in my mind. And I think it's better for me to move forward rather than to keep things in myself. I mean, it's better for me to look for solution rather than to think about why this happened to me. Why Martin is like this. Better for me to move forward, not to think about what is the possibility. What are the things that I did before that caused my son being autistic. So it's better for me to share. When I share, there's a lot of positive response. There's lots of positive feedback and also support from everyone, from my colleague, from my families, especially from my friends, and then it kept me going, okay, and it kept me looking for things to do to Martin. What are the things that can help Martin not to develop but also to evolve more, to give his best. I mean, to be the very best version of Martin. Abang Adli is more passionate than me, more patient than me, and has more experience. So I get a lot of guidance from actually Abang Adli, sharing through Facebook, through social media, and then we try to keep track, and then we try to help Martin as much as possible by giving him an early intervention. And early intervention actually helped Martin a lot because Martin was diagnosed when his age at 2 years and a half, right? At that time, Martin actually have a speech delay. He doesn't speak much, doesn't focus at all, tantrum most of the time because we cannot understand what he want actually. That's what happened. And then when we learn about early intervention, then we did the early intervention. We send him to the early intervention center, and then we bring back what are the things that we learned from the intervention center, and we did it at home with the support of our family, with the support of with the community where we live. And Alhamdulillah, nowadays, after few years, okay, after 5.5 years, Martin really developed, it really blooms. I mean, before this, he cannot speak, he cannot communicate, but nowadays he can actually make some jokes. I mean, he can actually, go to you and then, oh, hi kakak, you look so pretty today. Even can compliment things, can compliment others. And then for us, that is what we are trying to do. We not we're not looking for some answer why this happened to Martin, why autism happened, why autism happened to certain kids, certain family. But what we do is we try to educate ourselves, and we try to inspire other families so that other family can help their son, okay, not just being we actually met some family that don't want to accept their kid as it is, right? And some of them, they just kept quiet and then not looking for some help to help their kid. They just let it be, something like that. For me, that at first, being denial is the stage that I felt that most of the time I regret. Okay, and I hope that any parents out there, if they facing the same experience as us, please look for help. Please share with your friends, family, so that they can support you emotionally and also maybe in ways that you cannot imagine at the moment. Thank you.
I believe that you're also a very passionate father as well. I can see that both Luqman and Martin is very lucky to have both of you as their fathers, because we can sense the dedication and the passion that you have in order to help your both Martin and Luqman to develop and bloom to their full potential. Now, how about
Yeah.
you, Mr. Adli? Please do tell us your experience as well, because just now you and Mr. Firdaus seems to have a connection there when we were asked the question.
No, I
Just,
think they were quite similar in a way, in a way, like, I think Encik Firdaus now going through what I went through earlier stage of with Luqman and stuff, So we're facing a quite similar, what do you call this, activities, on my side is this, when the symptoms of autism appeared in his early years, I think about almost 2 years, um, I couldn't comprehend what it is. Just imagine this is about 23 years back, 23 years back. There's no internet and there's no knowledge of autism. It's not as widespread as we are now, So he came along. Oh, I was very happy, having a boy in our life, But the thing is, as I said, like, autism doesn't appear immediately. Like, when you saw Down syndrome, or for that matter, or blindness for that matter, it appears you can deal with it. Here you are. You're dealing with a perfectly perfect figure, physically figures. There's nothing wrong with him, but he started displaying something that is very strange. But you can't grasp on it. You don't know what it is. As I said, if it's Down syndrome, you knew what it is. But here you are dealing with a physically perfect individual. It's just that you knew something is wrong, but you don't know what it is. So having to come to terms with that, I was quite an angry figure in those early stage, And I think upon getting to know that he is an individual with ASD, there was difficulties in accepting as he is. He is as he is, Like Encik Firdaus mentioned just now, having difficulty accepting his son, for that matter, So it was a similar experience from my side, but somehow I think it went to the extreme side. I am very much a person. No, I was being taught I was being basically grown up working life in the private sector, where you either swim or you die drowning. You have to be successful in whatever it is. So backing up to the Luqman's condition, it's quite difficult for me to accept him as he is. That causes us a bit of a father and son relationship issues, It was a trying time for me and for him and for the family as well. But somehow or other we managed to pull through. And having said that, there was an issue of what's going on, what's going to happen to his life when we're not around. That was an issue to us, because as I said again, autism is a spectrum. At one point you have a very intellectual, very highly functional individual who will, I would say, able to lead his life if we were not around. But when you look at Luqman, he doesn't belong to that category. He's neither there nor here. So that is actually a challenge for me in the early stage of finding tune what is his capabilities. So I can, from there, because I need to know what is his ability, what is disability, and I found out, and this is why I set it up. I set up the Autism Cafe project based on his capabilities as well as his inabilities. So we created that, but it took us quite a while, I know, because we have, the disappointment of not having. Yeah, fine, we have individual with autism, but he's not functional as the highly functional individual. We wanted that, but there's always a reason behind it, and we have managed to pull through, and he's functioning far more better than he was before. I'm so glad, Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So that was a bit of a challenge, and managing the cafe itself is also a challenge, So we have to retain it. It has to be sustainable. We don't depend much on donation and stuff. We did it on our own, so it's quite a challenge to sustain the business. But Alhamdulillah, we managed to pull through, lah. Yeah. So been 5 years plus. Yeah. All right, that's all.
Yeah, that's very nice to hear from both Mr. Firdauz and Mr. Adli's perspective.
Now, being a leader of the family itself is not easy. There are days where you struggle, but you choose to hide how you feel because you want to appear strong. I think that's something that is really admirable in fathers, because choosing to hide our emotions is not easy. Now, as the leader of the family, what were the steps taken by your family to adapt after you found out that your child had autism? Mr. Firdaus, would you like to go first?
Right. Luckily, I am still a teacher till today. So I have a bit, knowledge about what to do if we're facing something like this, right? Because every day we are facing kids with, totally different personality, and like what Abang Adi said just now, we know something wrong with our kid, but we do not know what. We have a great feeling about that, but we cannot actually specifically knowing what it is. So for me, the best thing to do is to get help. To get help from the expert, from the medical expert, from the medical side, and then we try to start any intervention that we can get with. Okay, something like what we did at the early stages. We bring Martin to one of the early intervention center in Johor Bahru. So we did an early assessment. So based on that assessment, we know that actually Martin have some issues, and most probably he actually is autistic. Okay, so we try to cater one problem at a time. At that time, Martin problem is his behavior, and he cannot actually focus on one thing. He keep on going, running around in room, in the house, and then when we bring him outside, he never knew what is safety issue is a big issue at that time. He just running around without knowing the safety that he could probably get himself into, right? And then the next step is we prepare ourselves with knowledge that can help us to actually help Martin by doing some intervention by ourselves at home. And what we did was we attend workshop, we attend online courses to gain more experiences, to gain more network. Okay, and then when we have a wide range of network, so we can get more help actually, and we go to I think at that time we even go to Kuala Lumpur, we go to Kedah just to attend courses to get knowledge. Then we can share the knowledge to others, family that might have an issue that what we facing at that time. And then I think what we did is being empathic rather than being sympathetic. I mean, we cannot always be there for our kids, like Abang Adli just said just now, right? So we need to be more empathic. We need to provide something that our kids can, when we're not around, they can actually do by themselves. They can manage by themselves. They can at least, I mean, at one day, maybe one day when we're not around, they can actually work and then take care of themselves. That is enough for us at that moment. And I think it is best for us to share with our families, members, so that maybe they can help us in the way that we cannot expect it at the moment. I think that's all.
Okay, how about you, Mr. Adli? What were the steps by your family to adapt after you found out that your child had autism?
I think quite similar to Encik Firdaus earlier. I think, as I said, 23 years back, it was a very difficult situation. The knowledge was not there. Even we took part, we meet up with doctors and therapists and all. Some of them doesn't really know what is autism is all about. So there was an issue earlier. But as I said, once we found out he's autistic, there was a rebel inside of me. I couldn't accept him. But to the point that when the redor part came in, acceptance part came in, that's where we started looking around for solutions for him. Having sent him to the school was a bit a disaster for us earlier. We sent him to Montessori classes, Montessori kindergarten. Montessori is actually meant for those who having learning issues. That is why Montessori was set up. But can you imagine the teachers doesn't know what is basically Montessori for? So it was an issue to be dealt with, and when we sent him to school to Montessori class, and we were rejected. It was very heartbreaking. But we as I said, we find out, as I said, along the way, we decided that the best teacher for him, the best therapist for him, is us, the parents. I sent him to school. I still remember. I sent him to public school, for that matter, for 2 years, and I don't see any results. I don't see any result at all. I sent him. I'm not bad mouthing school, public school. No, I'm not. Please don't say that, because again, I can understand the situation in school. They have their limitations. I mean, there's less expertise in autism in the school. Probably that. And I actually went to the school. Intai mengendap, this what I just want to see what is the teachers are teaching him. And it was very much to my dissatisfaction of what I saw. So I took him out, and I sent him to another outlet called PDK. The same thing happened. As I say, I don't blame the teachers. I don't blame them at all. They have their hands full. But then again, you're talking about individual with ASD, which needs a personal attention. So I decided again to take him out and train himself. For that particular time, I have seen him progress so well, and I kind of glad that I took him out from the school and teach him on my own, because I knew better. I knew better my son than others. I knew. And this is what I coined when he was working at the cafe. This is where the school is for him. The school that teaches him through the blackboard in group doesn't fit him at all. So the cafe is his school. So there, when he was there, I think for the past 5 years, there was very much leaps and bounds in terms of his ability. You never came across, it never came across your mind that he's able to do what he's doing now, you know. As I said, if I leave that to others, if I leave that to the teachers, he wouldn't turn out to be as he is now. So it's important for the family to actually knew their son, because the best teacher is, I would say, is the parents, because it's you know your son very well, you know your daughter very well. So who's the best teacher in this matter, on this matter? It's not the teacher, it's the
But
parents, you know. But again, the parents must be creative as well as be knowledgeable in a sense, you know, and able to manipulate his ability. Now, when you're talking about ability, you know, you always see this ability, super ability, like, you know, individual with ASD playing marvelous violin, pianist, you know, artists, whatnot, you know. Parents tend to see that, but they fail to see something which is very ordinary could be extraordinary. You know, something, you know, Lukman loves very, what do you call this, uh, things that schedule, you know, kind of schedule work, you know, from A, B, C, D, E. It's very structured. He loves structured work. That is ability. So the parents need to turn that out into a commercial outlet, you know. But the best, as I said, the best person to understand your son, the best person to actually educate your son is the parents. Sorry, a bit lengthy on my. I'm so sorry, but I need to put out a point there. The best teacher is not actually the teacher. It's not actually the shadow. It's not actually the parent, the therapist. It's the parents. The parents need to carry this responsibility diligently. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, I think it is important to understand that the best teacher for the son is the parents itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I think this is a question that I look forward to ask both Mr. Adli and Mr. Firdauz for tonight's webinar, because I really look forward to knowing what the answer is. Right, Marsya? Okay, since Mr. Adli mentioned that the best teachers are the parents, now I would like to ask, the question is, what are the things you have learned from a skills perspective perhaps, or simply a lesson in life from your children with autism after raising and nurturing them all these years? Mr. Adli, would you like to go first? What did Lokman taught you after you spent all these years teaching and nurturing him?
I think if I coin it nicely, the best teacher that I've found so far is my son. You know, you can't, from him, you learn so much that, you know, university can't taught you of this, you know. But he is, as he is, has managed to, you know, teach me a lot, you know. For example, you know, you can't judge people by just looking at them. It's simple. You can't judge a book by its cover. You can't, you know. And you all, you know, beside those his what do you call this, poker face, you know, he understands. It's just that he can't vocalize as we can, you know. He can't. He can do stuff, but if you don't give him opportunity, so he can't. So opportunity, I learned from an opportunity must be created for him, for this individual. You have to be patient with them, you know. And success doesn't mean dollar and cents. Success doesn't mean numbers, you know. Success to me is able to lead his life to the fullest. That is my success, you know. From a person that we taught him, from unable to say a word Abba, and he's able to do that. That is a success. It's beyond dollar and cents. Really, it's beyond dollar and cents. So you know, just to tell you a bit of what we've gone through with the project. You know, we had a boy by the name of Honkit. You know, when he came to our cafe, he was very much a negative person. But after 6 or 7 months with us, he just bloomed. You know, and now he is working with one of the data entry company, an executive now, you know. So a success to me is able to actually support an individual with autism to reach his fullest potential. It doesn't mean dollar and cents, but it could be a career. It could be his perspective in life. This is what I learned from Lukman, and I couldn't get this from university. So as I coin it again, the greatest teacher that I found in my life is my son. Kind of irony, isn't it? When you look at someone, you look at your lecturer, your teachers, those are your idols. And I'm looking at my son as my idol because so much wealth, so much knowledge that I gained from him. As those days, I kind of detest him in a way. I sort of he's a liability to me. But now, when you reach up to the point in my life now, he is more a gift from God directly given to us. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. Alhamdulillah, shukr.
Alhamdulillah. It is so heartwarming to hear that both Lukman and yourself are teachers to each other, and you both are learning so much from each other.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
from that experience where you are telling about how Lukman is now capable to say Abba and do all those stuff, I believe
Yeah.
you are indeed the best teacher for Lukman. What about you?
Those days, I just said those days, he is unable to express himself, now he's able to smile when you say you love him, he's able to smile. So I guess, as I said, it's beyond dollar and cents. It's beyond dollar and cents. Okay, back to you, Firdauz. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ali.
Actually,
Sorry,
I
sorry.
couldn't. Actually, I couldn't agree more than what Abang Adi have stated about Lokman, how Lokman being teacher to him, and same goes to Martin. And what I can say is always expect the unexpected from
Oh yeah,
from
definitely.
our kids. I mean, Martin has taught me to be a very, very, very passionate person. I mean,
I
you know,
believe that. I believe that.
at some point, actually, darah turun dan naik at the same time.
Oh
That
yeah.
is what we can get from our kids. And for that reason, we need to chill a bit. We need to lay back, take some deep breath, and then only we can face them. Okay, we can at the point we need to chill a bit, and then only we can deal with any situation that involve our kids. And as a father, I think Cik Adli has I mean explained everything about what we have been experienced throughout the days, and of course we learn a lot from them. Okay,
Oh yeah.
and it is a bless to be a father, to be a teacher for both Lokman and Martin. That's all I can say. Nak nangis dah ni.
Itulah. It's always emo when we talk about our kids.
Yeah,
It's always
yeah.
because it's very personal. It's not that something that you want to talk to the public. It's your personal life, but it's just a waste if you don't tell anyone because it helps others so much. Then again, it's very personal, kan, Cik Firdaus?
Betul. It's not a burden
It's
to
very
us, but
personal.
actually it's a bless. It's really a bless. Everything happen in our life is for a reason, and Martin Lokman is the reason why. That's all what we can say.
Yeah.
I think I am very blessed as well to be able to hear from both your stories, Mr. Adli and Mr. Firdaus. What you said just now also helped me to see life in a different perspective because I am
Oh
someone
yeah.
who doesn't go through that. But by you telling us, I can see how much Lukman and Martin has taught you.
Sarah, sometimes you take things for granted, being able to kiss your parents, being able to say, I love you, Abba, I love you, Mommy, those are simple things in life, But imagine us, we're not getting that. And you are so privileged to have that, to be able to express yourself to your parents, But don't take things for granted, You think it's very simple? Be in our position, then those one sentence which I love you, Abba, you get it
Really
daily.
mean a lot.
But so don't take it for granted, So, I mean, count your blessing, count your blessing. Always count your blessing.
Inshallah, I will. That is something that I should remember by after this.
So our next question is for Mr. Firdaus. So Mr. Firdaus, it was Autism Awareness Month last month in April. So even with the amount of awareness and knowledge on autism that is shared on social media, there is still discrimination against people with autism. So Mr. Firdaus, in your opinion, what is still lacking in society as they are still dividing people with disabilities into a category that is so distant and different from them?
Actually, after what we did during the awareness month and so much advocate that we have did before with Genius Kurnia especially, I think my personal view is the knowledge, the amount of knowledge regarding what is disability, what is autism, what is special needs. When people doesn't understand and don't have the knowledge, the actual amount of knowledge about those things, they tend to, I mean, distance themselves from this group. I mean, from this disability group. What we need to do is we need to spread awareness more. I mean, what you did today, tonight is one of the awareness thing that can help people to getting know what is autism, what are kind of support that you can actually give. Because when people doesn't know, people tend to be scared. When people tend to be scared, automatically somehow they will. I mean, there is a barrier, okay, between us and also those special needs. Those special need to be understand because somehow they cannot express themselves. Like Amandi says, there's no words and no expression come out from them, right? Because of the poker face, because they cannot communicate well. So it's belong it depends to us. We need to open up ourselves, we need to open up our mind, we need to accept others, okay, and we need to gain more experience and knowledge. We need to be with them. I mean, one day if you want to come here to Abang Andi Cafes or to Genius Kunia, please help yourself. And then you mingle around with the kids, and then you know that this special kid actually, I mean, it's a blessing to our country, even more, right? And so, guys, what I can say is just spread the awareness more, use the social media, and share the info, and get more people to getting to know what is autism, and please involve with more activities that including and that include this disabilities group, and learn to love and to accept autistic person or any disabilities people as they are. That's all, I think.
Okay, now, Mr. Adli, from your perspective as father to Lukman, what are the stigmas of people or in the society nowadays, of stigmas against of people with autism that you wish the public would get rid of today?
I would say if you're talking about the public, probably from the employer's side, from big corporation, big organization, you always looked at their disabilities, because this thing I can't blame everybody on this matter, because what you saw on TV, like tantrums, meltdown, whatsoever, negative things about autism, that is what you saw, and that is what in your brain says that if they saw someone with autism, this is the stigma. They are not they're not employable. But the thing is this: you shouldn't look at their disability. Focus on their ability. As cliche as it is very true. Focus on their ability. And when you employ them, please try to understand them. They are not like us. A good example is this. When you have an individual with autism, generally they're very honest. They're very honest. If it's black, they will say black. If it's white, they will say it's white. They won't say gray or like that. They only see black and white. If you just employ them for the sake of employment, you employ this individual and place them over, say, customer service, and customer service, or for that matter, for customer service at a supermarket, And when a customer comes in and they will ask this boy who being employed, is this jam is nice? And that for that particular jam, the boy has tried it and it's not nice. He will say to you or to the customer, it is not nice. When you say that, it's bad for the company, is it? The customer won't buy for it, But when you understand these characters of autism, instead of placing them over there, why don't you place them over at the QC area, where they will actually vet it through every single detail of the product and make sure the product is perfectly produced, So understand that then you can smell the success. You can actually, it can be actually a win-win situation. Understand them first. Look at their ability, not looking at disability. Once you pass through that, once you understand them, there's a whole new world for you to discover with autism. They don't lie, they don't cheat. And who's the best employer? Who's the best worker there? It's them, not us. We tend to cheat, but they don't. They don't. And we are sometimes we're not honest, but they are 100% honest. So who's the best one? Who's the best worker? Us or them? It's just that you need to understand them first, looking at their ability, not their disability. So that's my take lah. Yeah.
I think I also agree with Mr. Adli because sometimes when we have the stereotype in our mindset, we tend to look at that person with that stereotype in our minds, and sometimes
Yep.
it's very hard for us to shift our perspective from that stereotype.
Yep.
Like you said, you spend some time with them, you get to know them, and then you look at them beyond something, not just a person with autism. You look at their capabilities, like you said, their ability.
This
So
is what I
you-
learned from Lukman. Don't judge book by its cover. Don't judge book by its cover. So this applied directly to them. Yeah.
And you yourself as well grow as an individual because you get to learn new things and you change, you shift your perspective.
Oh yeah, very true. Very true. Hello. Hello. Hello.
It seems
Are we
that
online?
Marsya is stuck. Yes, it seems that Marsya is having some internet connections problems. So I will ask Marsya's question to Mr.
Okay.
Adli. As the
Oh yeah,
founder
sure.
of Autism Cafe Project, what are your hopes and dreams for employers to include people with disabilities in the workplace?
I would say this again. Why we set it up, this project, it's because of we want them to feel life, like us, working together, having friends, and tap to their maximum ability, As I said, not a disability but ability, And having said that, when we set it up, this project, it's not about just working at the cafe. It's more than that. We took them out for picnic. We took them out for an event. So they can have friends. They can gather. They can socialize. So when we set it up, it's just not purely because of we want to get them to be employed. It's one of the phase, one of the part of living life to the fullest, which is to be employed, but it is beyond that, it is beyond that. It's a place for them to feel safe. It's a place for them to be themselves. It's a place they can work within a safety environment, a safe environment for them, So I hope in future, if there is any more outlet coming out in Malaysia, we still need more. We on Autism Cafe project, we can't do it all by ourselves, As much as we wanted to expand, there's a limitation on that. But when we approach this thing, it has to be approached organically. You can't start by just employing them and from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock and you're done. It's not that simple, With them, the personal attention as well as personal support in their growth is very, very much important. So I urge for those individuals or company out there, when you open up a possible job for them, look at them in totality. You can't just simply employ them as that and without looking at their personal individual growth. It has to be that manner, because as I said again and again, they can't decide, they can work, but the opportunity has to be created for them, has to be nature. We have to nurture them as individuals, because as I said, once you discover the beauty part of autism, there's a whole new world you can approach with them. It's very much satisfaction there. Yeah.
I believe what you are doing now, Mr. Adli, is a very good opportunity because you yourself mentioned just now earlier where you have an employer named where at first they was very, very garang, but then after a while they also reached to their full potential. So I also agree with you by giving them the chance, by giving them a platform to test their potential, to push themselves to the limit. You will also be able to they will also be able to push themselves, and then you will also learn from them.
Yeah, we had few boys who are so happy at the cafe they refuse to go home, because we provide them a place. They very much enjoy themselves. They have friends, and this one young man, not say young man, or old man, or no midpoint. He's 30. He's in his 30s, As I said, they're very honest. This young man, not say young man, 30-year-old man with ASD. When he came to me and gave me a hug, and he said, "What, Encik Adli, I'm so happy working over here, lah." And he gave me a hug. A 30-year-old man, So this is a sign of, as I said, the success doesn't really count on dollar and cents. With them, you have to look at different manner. And I'm happy with working with them. I really am.
That is very heartwarming to say. It's safe to say that you have created a safe environment for them to do things and for them to learn. Oh, okay, it is okay to do this. And then by creating a safe environment for them, they are also happy, like you said. You have someone who is 30 years old who hugs you and says that they are happy to work there. I guess those are factors that employers should integrate in their workplace to create a safe environment for everyone, people with different disabilities. By doing that, you will also bring out a potential, and you will also gain something, like you said. They don't cheat, they don't lie. You will also gain something from it.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
It's
Of
just
course, we would
sometimes
also want
I
to know
wish
from Mr. Firdaus' perspective as well. As you are in the education system, what are your hopes and dreams for society in terms of including people with disabilities in the education system?
I mean, in an education perspective, I think inclusion is the most valued things that parents are looking for. I mean, inclusion in education itself, inclusion in community itself. We can say that people, we have a lots of awareness program, activities, and so on. But the truth is, the opportunity to include our kids. I mean, the people with ASD, okay, in the community, That's are the things that we are looking for. Actually, we're looking at the opportunity for them to socialize, to actually communicate, to mingle around, and somehow when they learn from each other, they can actually contribute back to the society, to the education sector. Maybe as Abang Ali just said just now, this kid, they actually know the black and white. There's no gray area for them. Where they're not telling lies. I mean, perhaps some of them can actually telling lies and give excuses, good excuses, like my son Martin. Most of the time he keep on going giving excuses when I ask him to do this, to do that, and then there's lots of excuses lah, and manipulative also. But we have to look at the good way. Okay, people, kids like this, actually, when we give them opportunities, they can actually excel, they can actually bloom, and they can actually give back to the society. And inclusion is the answer here. We need to bring them, and then we need to include them in any activity or any social environment in what we whatever it is. We need to include them together. We cannot exclude them, because if we do exclude them, there's no chance for them to actually develop themselves. And surprisingly, when you will learn that this autistic person or group can actually, we can actually learn more from them. They are unique at their own way, and somehow we can learn that we notice that they can actually inspire us in many ways. And I really hope that one day, we do not talk about inclusion in education, sector, but also we need to talk about inclusion in our community itself, in the surau and the shopping mall. There's only a limited area of inclusion that we can see, but we're hoping that from time to time there's more opportunities for them to be included in our daily routine. That's all.
Yes, I also agree with Mr. Firdaus. I think autistic people, not only education is not the only thing that is important, but also in the community itself, like public, job opportunities, and more. So, okay, that is all our questions for today. But it's time for Q&A session. I hope that we can steal a bit of your time for Q&A session. Okay. Wow, we have a lot of comments in the comment section, but let's see what questions do we have here. Thank you to those who asked questions, but I think we need to choose maybe one or two questions only since we are running out of time. Okay, so the first question is from Mira Akira. Do they need to stick to a routine?
And the question goes to
Anyone who would like to answer can answer.
I probably will tell you on my experience. Autism individuals, they're quite rigid in terms of routine. Coming at the cafe, signing or wishing everybody good morning, whatnot. They're quite routine. They're quite structured in that manner. So you don't change them. You don't change them, but you use that to their ability. When our boys making cakes, there's a good example of this. They have a very specific, let's say, making cupcakes. The table must be very clean, and the ingredients must be placed at certain process. For instance, the eggs must be there first, the butter after that, and then there's flour and stuff. And don't change that. Let it be, because if you change that, you are messing up with their head, with their brains. So do whatever that's comfortable with them. focus on the ability. You don't change, simply change. You want to change because that will actually open up cans of worms. They will question you. They will be very uncomfortable. So don't change. But keep on encouraging them to do as routine as they can, because once they are there, then baking a cake is just as simple as ABC, and the cake quality turns out to be fantastic, because they are very rigid. You can't change this, you can't change this. The book says this, they will follow as it is. So encourage them to do their routine. Don't change them, to my perspective. And we have done that for the last 5 years. And for the past 5 years plus, for what we did, they have none cases of meltdown or tantrum. 5 years and plus, we have a clean record on that. Simply, we just focus on their ability, and we just stick to the routine, same routine as is, because they don't get tired of the same routine. Us, maybe we want some changes, but they don't. So let it be. And you can see the results. I'm very much happy with the result. Routine, fine. Routine is okay. Yeah.
Okay, we also have another question from Hani Ali. As fathers, on your most down days, how do you find the strength to lift the spirit for your spouse, as moms, your family, and that special child himself, Luqman and Martin?
I would like to share my thought on this. Okay, how do I find my strength? By looking at Martin itself. I mean, that's the only that's the reason what we did today. And yeah, when we share everything, our feelings with our spouse, with our families, actually it helps a lot. As I mentioned earlier, it gave us strength, and by sharing is the most healing things that we can actually get, the easiest thing that we can get. And most of the time, yeah, by looking at our kids, and that is the most inspiring things, and help to lift up the spirits.
I see, okay. She also commented that we do our for Luqman and Martin to be healthy, and may Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala protect them in this
Amin.
dunya and
Amin.
inshallah jannah in hereafter. Amin. Actually, Hadi Ali is my mother, and she also asked, where is the
Oh.
cafe that Luqman works at in Cik Adli?
The cafe that we have now, we have two cafes. One is at the Diamond Mall in Subang Jaya. That's where Lukman is. And we have Firdauz over there. And we have another mini outlet in Thompson Hospital in Kota Damansara. So, Mum Hani Ali, do drop by if you're free then.
Me and my
This
mom
weekend we will go
will
there.
definitely.
Inshallah.
Okay. We have one last question. Marsya, would you like to take it?
Okay, one last question is from Kapsa. So as you informed earlier that parents play a very important role and need to be creative, but society also needs to be open-minded
All
and
right.
aware with autistic conditions. In your opinion as the parents, what is the best way to deal with an autistic meltdown?
I would like to answer that. This is again based on our experience. Yeah, when we employ staff over at the cafe, we always ask questions like, "What are their likes, the children's like, and what are their dislikes?" We just focus when we knew that. Sometimes meltdown came something from their dislike. You ask them, they don't like maths, you give them something to do with maths task, and chances are it will be a meltdown. So when we approach on that manner. Ours is simple: just focus on their likes and don't focus on their dislike. A good example is this. We knew one boy who hate to go outside of the cafe in the direct sunlight, whatnot. So we don't give him to task. We don't give any task that related for him to go outside, to go to the supermarket, to cross the road, because if you do that, you are courting for issues. You are courting his dislike. So just focus on his like. As I said again, the formula is quite simple. And as far as on our case, 5 years plus, no meltdown, no tantrums. A simple formula is just focus on their likes. So before you must address this before it happens. Before it happens, you address this. So the chances you could minimize the potential meltdown or potential tantrums. That's how I approach this. Probably Chief Firdauz would like to address this too, so how to ini.
All right, just to add a little bit, okay. Actually, based on my past experience, dealing with the meltdown is just by give them some space. I mean, that's the best thing lah. Okay, just give them some space. One of the reasons why they actually meltdown because we cannot understand what they want, and they cannot express what they want, and that is the most that is the I mean the reason why the meltdown actually happen, because they cannot express the feelings and we cannot understand what are they trying to express. That's the reason the meltdown happen. And the best because of based on my past experience, the things that we do is actually we give them some space. That's all, and automatically Martin will self-regulate and then take it easy, and then only we get to their eye level and then hug them and then talk to them, things like that. As easy as that. It might look easy, but actually it gain a lot of patience from us. Right.
Okay, so I think some important points to note here is that one, we need to understand them, what they like and what they don't like. And second one is that we need to give them space. Okay.
That is from my personal experience lah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not a doctor.
A good teacher as well. Okay. Before we go, since it is Raya, I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone, especially to Mr. Firdauz and Mr. Adli, Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri.
Selamat Hari
On
Raya.
that note, I will ask one last question. How was your preparation for Raya, since it was a Hari Raya, as the internet says, and it has also been so long since we celebrated Raya like this, and we meeting so many people after 2 years of just celebrating among your families at the comfort of your own home. Honestly, for me myself, it was very overwhelming as everything was very last minute, the preparation and all. Don't you agree with me, Marsya? Now, how about you and your families, Mr. Adli and Mr. Firdauz, especially when you both have someone who's very special in the family?
We need a social story. I mean, a social we need to prepare a social story weeks before, because we're facing the pandemic for 2 years. We never expecting people to come to our house, or we go to our visit to another house, and then most of the time Martin will not take off his face mask because of the routine for 2 years. So we need a social story, right, Jabani?
Yeah, betul. On my side, not much of an issue lah, because Lukman is an adult now, but he's kind of enjoy his attention lah from the public. We brought him over to our relatives and all, and he said, "Hey, Lukman!" Everybody was like, started posing photos with him, and he was like, he and his poker face like, why is people taking my photos, not. But he enjoyed it very much, because I think 2 years we were being cooped up, and finally he's managed to see relatives and all. You kind of see he's enjoying himself, So I'm glad with the lifting up of this MCO and stuff, It has some kind of positive effect on him, I'm glad, But he's enjoying himself during the get together, Everybody was like focusing on him. He's like, Oh, okay, fine.
It's very nice to hear that both Lukman and Martin had enjoyed their ride, especially Lukman, who enjoyed the spotlights of people around
Oh
him.
yeah, oh yeah. He's a star now.
I am so happy to hear that your family, especially Lukman and Martin, enjoyed the Haraya, and hopefully they also collected lots of duit raya as well.
Oh,
Since we've been meeting so many people this raya.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
people always say that time passes by quickly when you are learning and having fun. With that, it marks the end of our webinar for tonight. Thank you everyone for taking the time to join our webinar tonight discussing disability inclusion, the world of autism from two dads' perspective. We would like to give a big and special thank you to Mr. Firdauz and Mr. Adli for sharing
Thank
and also
you.
giving us plenty of insights and a peek into their lives as father to Lukman and Martin. We hope everyone enjoyed their time listening to tonight's webinar. We also hope that everyone gained new insights and hopefully some new perspective in life through from this webinar, such as Mr. Adli, who mentioned a lot that people with autism should not be looked just like that. You should be giving them opportunities for them to bloom and for them to grow. Same goes to Mr. Firdaus as well, who says that you need to give them space for them to adjust to themselves and adapt to the situation. Now that we have learned more about the world of autism, we can definitely love them, include them, and treat them equally as everyone else, as they are also their own individual being, and we should not look at them only as people with autism, as we have learned that they are more than that and they are capable, they also have more capabilities than that. That is all from us. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Right.
Right.
All right.